What is up, my dude?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. It's
Good.
Monday, so I'm here.
I hear you. That makes two out of the three of us, bro.
I know. Unfortunately, Tony Tone. Well, fortunately for him, he's on vacation.
Yeah, good for him. I get it, but also
But
bro, we got a podcast around here. You know what I
right,
mean?
like fucking priorities here, bro.
God, he's the
Come
most
on.
handsome of the three of us too. He can't not be here.
We need NFL season kicked off. We need Patrick Mahomes on the show.
Unbelievable, bro.
That's all right. Hey, I got a question for you. You're gonna have to handle it by yourself, though.
I got it. Let's do it.
All right. So they just announced Hall of Fame. We're gonna talk about Hall of Fame stuff later. So
Okay.
it got me thinking.
Mhm.
If you were a player, and I'm strictly talking about just this question, not stats or anything, would you rather be a one and done on the Hall of Fame ballot, or would you rather go all 10 years but still not make it at the end? And let me clarify, just so you don't think too deep into it here. Like, I'm not talking about like maybe they're a borderline, that's why they stay on, so your numbers might be better.
Okay.
I'm just talking strictly, would you rather be one and done, or would you rather go all 10 years and then fall off and not make it?
So either way, I'm not making it.
Correct.
Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh my god. I don't know. That's 10 years of misery if you make it the whole way and never get in, bro.
But there's always the chance you could.
Yeah, but you're telling me I won't. So in this case, I'm going one and done, but like I get it. Like, oh god, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck it. Put me on the ballot for 10 years. I'll just fucking lose all my hair, go bald, and fucking lose my mind.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being
You
bald.
know? Well, to each their own, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right, bro. Let's get going.
Hell yeah.
You're listening to the Upper Decker Podcast.
And welcome back to episode 81 of the Upper Decker Podcast. I'm your boy Ty. I'm your boy Tone.
And I'm your boy Dan.
And the boys are back in town, baby. How bad was that Tone impression? Was it okay?
It was really bad. It was pretty terrible.
I just had Kermit the Frog in my head. That was all. That was it.
It was you were about an octave too high for him, man.
Well, I don't have that deep of a voice, good buddy.
I get
So here we are, episode 81. Again, running out of numbers. There was Ryan Thompson he's a pitcher for the Rays.
Okay.
He's wore number 81 the last 2 years, but there's nothing about the boy anywhere to be found on the internet. So maybe here in the next couple years, we might have a player. But with that being said, I just went with 1981. It was kind of a weird, cool year, so I figured we'd talk about that. So,
hell yeah.
Rube Foster, Johnny Mize, and Bob Gibson are all elected to the Hall of Fame. Bob Gibson is the only one elected by the Baseball Writers Association of America. The others were Veterans Committee. So, Bobby G was the one and only that year.
That a baby Gibby.
Yeah. Raleigh Fingers wins the AL MVP and the Cy Young for the Milwaukee Brewers. Sounds crazy, right? Sounds like, oh shit, like a Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander type season. But as a reliever, bro, I looked at this man's numbers. These guys had to have been smoking crack because he led the league with 28 saves. That's it. Just 28.
Okay.
He was also 6-3. Granted, he had a 1.04 ERA. That's tight. Good for you.
Sure.
It was only 78 innings, and he had 61 strikeouts with an 8.72 whip. So you're telling me
good numbers, but MVP?
Right. Or Cy Young even. You can't tell me there's not one better pitcher than a guy who threw 78 innings this year.
Right.
We'll get into it, granted, but like there was a little bit of a strike this season. But still, 78 innings? You can't find a starter who threw more than 78 innings that did better. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm looking like at just numbers here. This is Mike Schmidt's age 31 season, so widely considered one of the greatest third basemen of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He led the league in runs, RBIs, walks, intentional walks, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and OPS. You couldn't have just given him the MVP?
It also does get a little tricky here because this is when the Brewers were in the American League. So if you're looking at
National
League,
yeah.
Okay.
I forgot to change it by league, but still,
it's all good.
Okay.
So yes, the Brewers were in the National or the American League.
American League at the time, right? Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. I think it was just kind of whack. Maybe we'll dig into that on a later episode or not. I don't fucking know. Tom Seaver collects his 3,000th career strikeout in April that year. He struck out Keith Hernandez to do so. And then 11 days later, Steve Carlton collects his 3,000th strikeout and becomes the first lefty to do so. That's kind of tight. April 1981 is the only month in history to have 2 players reach that milestone. I mean, obviously, because, not so many people have done it. So the fact that it happened in the same month was kind of crazy.
Right.
Speaking of 3,000, Carl Yastrzemski plays in his 3,000th game to become the 4th to ever do it behind Ty Cobb, Stan Musial, and Hank Aaron. Good company to be in there.
Yeah, that's pretty all right.
So this is a little bit about that strike that I was talking about. So June 12th is the start of the strike. They suspended, canceled, a total of 713 games over the next almost 2 months. It was like 7 weeks-ish.
Jesus, that sucks.
So the strike began over free agency issues. Go figure. MLB owners wanted compensation for players leaving via free agency. So now here we are, 40 years later, and we've got the compensation picks and shit already. So this is basically what they wanted back then. It's just, I don't know, it's all dumb. If somebody leaves your team, they left your team because you didn't give them a good enough price.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't be rewarded for not doing your players right.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
It's never too early in the day for a Gene Wilder reference.
So after that strike, nearly 2-month strike was over, MLB decided to split the season into 2 halves, which I've never heard this before.
Nope.
So the playoffs were established with divisional rounds constructed of the winner of the first half versus the winners of the second half in each league.
Okay.
So I had it all pulled up earlier, the bracket and shit, but the first round of playoffs was like American League. You had the Eastern 1 seed and the Eastern 2 seed and the Western 1 seed and the Western 2 seed. They played each other. Same thing for the National League. And obviously, dude, it's crazy. It was crazy to look up. Like, I was rolling through the Wikipedia and I was like, what the fuck? Why is there all, like, they have like 4 separate brackets. And it was because it was the best team in the American League, the best team in the National League for the first half, and then it was best team in the American League, best team in the National League for the second half.
Second half, okay.
So they paired up those top 2 and those top 2.
I can't believe that was the solution that they came to, but hey, whatever, okay.
Yeah, it's wild. So if you ever get a wild hair up your ass, go ahead and go check out the 1981 season. I just went to Wikipedia. They have the whole bracket listed out and shit. It was crazy. Like, the Brewers won the American League East, and that was in the first half of the season. So they immediately had a shot in the playoffs that year after the first half of the season was over.
And they could have sucked the rest of the year and been fine. And okay.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was something about like giving the teams incentive to keep playing and shit, but it's like, yo, the Brewers would just sit back. Like, you've already won. You're already in the playoffs. What the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, why would you not? So, all right. I gotta go back to this Raleigh Fingers thing because it's like it's gonna irritate the shit out of me, right?
All right, yeah.
So because of the strike, I guess there really wasn't a lot of good pitching performances that year. Like, he was actually far and away one of the better pitchers that year. However, I don't know that he was necessarily the best pitcher that year.
Sure.
So I'm looking at him and I'm looking at Goose Gossage. So both relievers.
Okay.
So by ERA plus standards, Raleigh Fingers had a 333 ERA plus.
Pretty good.
Pretty awesome, right?
Pretty good.
Gossage had 465.
Okay.
So quite a bit better.
So that's strictly ERA plus.
Yes, that is just looking at ERA plus. If you look at saves, Fingers had 28, Gossage had 20, innings pitched 78 to 46.2. So Gossage did pitch in 15 less games. I don't know. This was the 80s Yankees, so they probably weren't in very many save situations for Gossage to pitch in. Right. So I'm not really going to hold that part of it against him. But, I mean, 9 earned runs to 4, a 1.04 ERA to 0.77, 20.5 K percentage to 27.8. Like, if we're really going to give it to a reliever, you probably gave it to the wrong one.
Okay. Well, fucking whatever, dude. Raleigh's got the well, goddamn, I guess fucking Gossage got the mustache too, bro.
Right.
Sheesh. You can't
So,
do nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
It just caught me way off guard when I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, like, of course, Raleigh Fingers sounds like a guy that could potentially win the Cy Young and MVP. But, like, both with 71 innings pitched, 78 innings, whatever the fuck I had written down.
Did you know?
78.
Fun fact about Raleigh Fingers, and I actually think it was before this 81 season.
Let's hear it.
He was a Cardinal on paper, but he never actually pitched an inning for the Cardinals.
No way.
He got traded, I believe, from the A's to the Cardinals, and then Whitey flipped him for Suter to the Brewers. And I'm almost positive it was before the 81 season.
Wow.
But yeah, it was all done in the offseason. He never pitched a single inning for the Cardinals, but on paper, he was a St. Louis Cardinal for a second. And it was actually the Padres to the Cardinals. Sorry.
Padres
Not
to the
A's.
Cardinals to the Brewers.
And yeah, and it was in December of 1980.
Wow.
So yeah, it was the offseason right before this.
Dang, dude, that's crazy. I love little fucking dumb trades like that where players played for a team but never played for the team.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, brother, we're going to have to pick up Tone's slack. What do you think about doing some birthdays, my guy?
Bro, I am ready for some birthdays.
Bet.
Bring it on.
All right, I'm going to do this first one here.
Get after
Of course, it's my boy, dog. Freddie Freeman, the Atlanta first baseman, none other, Freddie Freeman. September 12th, 1989. I forgot. Nope, he will be 32. So as of yesterday? As of yesterday, he's 32 years old. I don't know why I love it so much, but his first name is Frederick. Like, I think that's just a sick name. I have no idea why I love it.
I mean that's going to be a future dope name for sure.
It just sounds made up, right? Like Frederick.
Right.
I don't know, man. Frederick Charles Freeman. He debuted in 2010 for the Braves. As of yesterday on Baseball Reference, his career WAR is a 42.5, and he, like we said, is just 32. So he's got a good amount of playing time left on that Hall of Fame trek that he's on right now.
Yeah, to be determined if it's still with the Braves or not, though.
Oh God, I know. We'll get into it. His career slash line's a 295, 383, 509, good for an 893 OPS. He's collected 270 home runs. He was last year's MVP, 5-time All-Star. He's got a Gold Glove. He's got 2 Silver Sluggers. And, of course, that whole time he's been battling with guys like, I don't know, Brandon Belt, Paul Goldschmidt, Rizzo.
Rizzo and Goldie, yeah.
You know, it's all over the place with those three. So it's good that he made out with one of each at least, over that course of time.
And he's got an MVP, which the others don't. So.
Yeah, for sure. This is something cool. Both of his parents were born in Canada, so he holds citizenship in both the United States and Canada because they were both born in Canada. He was born here in California, so he's an American native, but has citizenship in both.
Yep.
So that actually allowed him to play for Canada in the 2017 World Baseball Classic.
Hell yeah.
Him and his wife, Chelsea, and their son, Charlie, are kind of like baseball, like social media, like moguls. Like you see them all over the place.
Right.
Chelsea was actually on Say Yes to the Dress Atlanta for their wedding. Kind of a cool little thing. She was out there doing that.
I'm sure you watched every episode of it too.
Sure didn't, sir. And then he and his son, Charlie, everybody, like I said, everybody in Braves country loves Charlie. They always post shit about Charlie hitting dingers off the wiffle balls.
I was just going to say, he's got a hell of a home run swing already.
They were hitting in the bubble last year, and everybody was like making fun of Freddy. Like, bro, he's going to pass you up any day now and shit. Like, it was hilarious. But before the 2021 All-Star game, so earlier this season, Freddy got off to a real slow start in the season, and I love this fucking story so much.
Yeah.
Charlie was like, Dad, are you going to be an all-star or not? And Freddie's like, well, I don't know, man. Like, I'm trying my best, but, like, I don't know, man. And he's like, you have to be an all-star. I have to meet Fernando Tatis Jr. at the all-star game. He's like, that's the only reason you want me to be an all-star is you want to meet Fernando? He's like, yeah, of course. So Freddie turned it on and ended up becoming an all-star. And those two met, and now they have an inseparable friendship. Every time they play the Padres, Charlie's in the stands. He's yelling and screaming at Fernando, and Nando's tipping his cap. And it's awesome to watch, man.
I love it.
And then I know that I've talked to you guys about this before too, but in 2016 there was a freak snowstorm in Atlanta, and Freddie was stranded in his car on the highway, and Chipper was like, I'm gonna go get my boy. Fuck it.
I got you.
So he gets all bundled up, gets on his ATV, heads out there, picks up Freddie. Freddie makes it back, some high water jeans and a leather jacket, just frozen to the back of Chipper Jones, dude. So funny. They ended up making a bobblehead out of it and everything.
Oh, dude, I got to find that bobblehead. That is awesome.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, he will be a free agent after the 2021 season. I personally don't think you can go on without a Freddie Freeman.
No.
He is a monument in that franchise right now, and they have to re-sign him, whatever it is. I know that they've kind of been talking about an extension all throughout this season, and both sides are kind of at separate ends, which sucks. But hopefully after the season calms down, they can come together on something there.
Yeah, there's just certain players that you want to see spend their entire career with one organization.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Freeman is obviously one of those guys. You think about guys like Yadi Molina, Adam Wainwright, obviously being Cardinals fan. Those are the first two that come to mind.
Right.
But yeah, Freeman, if you're looking at other teams, like Anthony Rizzo was one of those guys too that I really didn't want to see anywhere besides the Cubs. So I really, really don't want to see Freeman go anywhere outside of Atlanta, especially like they've got Albies and Acuna locked up for dirt freaking cheap. Their starting rotation isn't going to cost them a ton of money. So just throw a little bit extra front loaded if you have to Freeman.
Right.
And, or give them some bonuses, or if you have to do the Scott Boras, structure it to where you just got deferrals for 10 years after the contract.
Right.
Whatever you got to do, you have to do it to get this dude signed.
Yeah. I don't think there's any chance that he leaves, but I don't know shit about nothing. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel that too. So speaking of not knowing shit about nothing, we are going into our next guy who I'm going to cover here, and that is Mr. Marcus Semien. So Semien was actually drafted by the White Sox in 2008 in the 34th round, but he didn't sign. Okay. So he went back to college and he got drafted again in 2011 by the White Sox again, this time in the 6th round, and he did sign this time.
Sure.
3 years later, he was actually traded by the White Sox in 2014, along with, listen to some of these names. You'll know some of them. Chris Bassett, right? Big name.
Yep.
Josh Fegley.
Rangel
Ravello, who was a Cardinal who was released in the offseason. For Jeff Samardzija and Michael Enoa.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny that in this trade, Semien has more career WAR than every other person in that trade combined. So he's got a 28.1 career WAR to 26.1 compared to everybody else. And Jeff Samardzija is obviously carrying the lion's share of that one.
I was just about to look that up. Yeah.
It doesn't help that Ravello has a negative 0.3, but still, even without that, at a 0, they're still lower.
Yeah. Big yikes, bro.
He actually finished 3rd in MVP voting in 2019, if I'm sure everyone remembers that one. So it was looking like he was about to be awesome coming into free agency. He had kind of a down year in 2020, but in 2019, he finished with a slash line of 285, 369, 522 for an 892 OPS, which was outstanding.
That's pretty good.
And his OPS plus was sitting at 138. So he had a great year. And as crazy as those numbers are, he's actually performing better this year than he was in 2019, and he's not even the MVP of his own team.
Right, dude.
So, like, all of that just goes to say, like, he's also a free agent at the end of this year. He did sign that 1-year deal with the Blue Jays this year, and honestly, man, they got to re-sign him too. Not as dire as Freddie Freeman, obviously, but the Blue Jays obviously feel the same way because they've already started contract extension talks with him. But obviously they haven't gone anywhere because we haven't heard any news either direction.
Right.
But he's just such a good fit in that clubhouse. Like, there's so many young players. If you can get a guy like Marcus Semien, who's been in the league for 9 or 10 years at this point, to just come in there, hold down second base, bat anywhere you want in the lineup, really,
right. Well,
and just teach these young guys.
That, holding down second base thing, that's a big move because that's a veteran coming over to a young up-and-coming team, and he realized, they got Bo Bichette at shortstop. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to slide over to second. I'll fill in here, let him do his thing, and I can help mature him from over here. I can teach him whatever. He knew that wasn't his spot. He didn't throw up, a gripe about it. He was like, second base. I got you, dog. Let's fucking do it. And that veteran presence is it's got to be admired by those young guys so much.
Yeah, if you can see a guy who's been in the league for almost 10 years be humble enough to say, yeah, you're a better shortstop. I'll play second base.
Right.
Like, come to a rookie second-year player, like, exactly. that's got to speak volumes. So hopefully he goes back. But, TBD, we'll see what this offseason looks like for free agents.
True, bro.
So, who's not going to be a free agent in this offseason? And Tony Tone's dope name of the day is Boss Schmidt.
I'm about it.
That's a pretty badass name. I'm not mad about it. So he would be 141 years old this week.
Fuck, that's big old, bro. Damn, where do you find these old guys, Tone? Shit.
Dude, he's got to have like a book somewhere. He has to.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So he was a catcher for the Tigers from 1906 to 1911.
Yep.
And unfortunately for him, he committed a pretty bad error in the first game of the 1907 World Series against the Cubs, which that was the first of back-to-back World Series wins for the Cubs.
Okay.
Detroit was up 3-2 with 2 outs, bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, right? Like, that is just World Series game, every kid playing backyard ball. That's the situation, right? Well, he dropped the third strike, which coincidentally was thrown by another one of our dope namers, Wild Bill Donovan. And that brought in the tying run.
Oof.
The game eventually ended in a 12-inning tie due to darkness because, they didn't have electricity back in 1907, apparently, so they couldn't have lights.
I read 4 words ahead, and immediately I was like, God damn it, dude.
So the rest of that game, though, the Cubs actually stole 7 bases, and old Boss here committed another error on a wild throw. So pretty bad day all around for old Boss. Apparently, it was reported that he cried in the clubhouse after the game, which if you're 1907 and your name is Boss and you're crying in the clubhouse, that's some big time emotion right there.
If your name's Boss and you're fucking up this bad, bro, you are no longer the boss. Your name is now trainee or fucking, I don't know. It ain't Boss, bro.
Right. Entry level. Right. Your name is entry level Schmidt.
You're intern Schmidt, bro.
Right. A couple little fun facts here. Apparently, he had a little bit of a wild streak in him, or a feisty streak in him here. So he once broke Ty Cobb's nose in a fight.
Sick.
It's kind of cool, though, because he was standing up for a black groundskeeper and his wife, who noted racist Ty Cobb was harassing. So that one act actually made him extremely popular with his teammates because apparently they all hated Cobb because it's known he was just a huge asshole and nobody liked him.
Yeah, fuck Ty Cobb, bro.
So they actually fought at least one more time that season after Boss had kind of taken exception to some of Cobb's comments about Boss in a Georgia newspaper. So in an interview he did with the newspaper, supposedly Boss left Cobb, and I quote, a bloody mess. So apparently this wasn't a dude to fuck with. He's the only player in MLB history to make the last out in 2 different World Series, so 1907 and 1908, both losses, like I mentioned, to the Cubs. He fractured his right hand 30 times in his baseball career. 2
of them were on Ty Cobb's face.
I was going to say, there's got to be at least a couple that Ty Cobb was involved in. And, ending on kind of a bad note here, typical dope name fashion, end of his life just was not great. He ended up going bankrupt in 1912. He suffered from alcoholism, which caused his wife and kids to leave him and move out of state.
Yikes.
And he ended up dying at age 52 from an acute intestinal obstruction.
Oh, he couldn't poop.
Right.
He died from not being able to poop.
So, again, usually rough ending to the end of these dope namers' lives, but he had some interesting tidbits throughout his life.
Dude, that's true. I also can't tell if in this picture he's 20 or 60.
Right.
Like, there is a wide range in that man's face.
He's real happy with it, though. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you also look up his other pictures, just, do it ahead of, later after this.
Like that one?
It's a ghost, bro. It's a ghost.
It is.
Oh, he's so scary, bro. I hate it.
So there's the birthdays for the week.
God, gotta love it.
Frederick is not excited about this.
I don't know. Yeah, no, he's not. He's like, who the fuck did that to Todd?
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
Sheesh. Oh, well. Whatever. Freddie, don't stand up for Todd. You don't deserve it.
Truth.
All right, what's next on the old slideshow here, brother? We got anything, or is that it?
Nope, that's it.
That's it. That's what I thought, dude. I knew that for sure, dude. I'm so used to this show by now. All right, well, before we get into Wheelhouse, let's talk about this real quick. Sign up to be a monthly contributor at anchor.fm/upperdeckerpod/support. You can do that for 99 cents, $4.99, or $9.99 a month. All of it goes right back into the show. It gives us, helps us pay for subscriptions to StreamYard and StatHead and all that fun stuff. Pays for the website fees that we've put up. Also, go check out the website. That's just upperdeckerpod.com. A lot of cool merch. You can find out where all of the old or all the new episodes are coming out. You can go on there. It's all there. And then, if you can't do a monthly thing, I get it. No big deal. No problem. Head over to PayPal. Go to paypal.me/upperdeckerpod to do a one-time donation. If you do anything over $20, you can get a message on the show read by yours truly, or you can make me wear a t-shirt that I probably wouldn't like to wear, but I'll wear it. So go ahead, paypal.me/upperdeckerpod or anchor.fm/upperdeckerpod/support. Now, that's all the money stuff.
Yeah.
Let's
get into the money stuff.
Wee little bit about a Wheelhouse. What do you think?
I'm all right with it. I'm down with it. Let's do it.
All right. So we got who's hot and who's not. We're going to kind of keep these a little short because we got some Hall of Fame discussion we're going to do later.
Absolutely.
So right off the bat, who's hot? We got the Blue Jays. I know they've won your heart over. They've had Tone's heart for a couple years now. Blue Jays are done doing it, man. At the over the last 16 games, they've got an 8-game win streak kind of peppered in there, and they're 14-2 in that time span. The Yankees are kind of helping them out wildly by going 4-12 in that same span. So Blue Jays are shooting right up that wild card race.
They're tied.
They're tied?
They're tied with Boston for the second wild card spot and a game over the Yankees.
They can't be far from the division title either then, can they?
I can look that up.
Oh, no, they are. They're 9 games out still. Don't sweat it.
Okay, never mind.
So during this run, the Blue Jays, as a whole, the team, this is the whole fucking team, okay? In these 16 games, they're batting .304, .390. They're slugging .582 for an OPS of .972 as a team with 41 home runs scattered out in there.
That's insane. That's insane. Oh, and for clarity, Toronto and Boston are tied, but they are the 2 wild card teams right now.
Okay.
So, God, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, of course, Vlad is also putting a little bit of that team on his back there. He has moved into a tie at first for home runs at 44. That's throughout all of baseball. And then he's leading the AL in average, and he's 5 behind Jose Abreu for the lead in RBIs. So we got a Triple Crown race watch going for the rest of the season. God, I don't know. I know we talked about it last episode, bro, but if he gets it,
it's so close, right? Like, he's going to split so many votes. It's not going to be as runaway for Shohei as I think we thought.
Yeah, it's going to get down to the wire, bro. It's going to get crazy. Might be one of the closest MVP races we've seen. I can't think of anybody else
since the Stanton Votto one.
Yeah, Stanton Votto was pretty close. I think Votto was involved in another one. Maybe it was Kemp, but whichever one Ryan Braun won and he cheated on.
Yeah,
I know that was super close too. And then it came out later that Braun had cheated, everybody's like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
right.
We were so close on this shit. If we'd have just known that you cheated, get your fucking ass out of here, bro.
So I saw something the other day too that so you mentioned Vladdy is tied with 41 home runs with Shohei, or 41 home runs.
I think it's 44.
44 home runs. That is tied also with his dad for the most home runs hit by a season, hit in a season. So if he hits one more, he'll have bragging rights on his dad for at least most dingers in a season.
For what category? What do you mean? What category?
Home runs.
Oh, like Vladdy Senior had hit 44 in a season.
Yes. Yeah, the most he ever hit in a season was 44, and Junior's already tied him with 3 weeks in the season left to go. So,
gotcha.
I'm pretty excited to see how that one ends.
Yep, me too. We're gonna talk real quick, I guess, about who's not. I'll just kind of ramble through that, and then I'll let you talk about the injuries and shit. So who's not? Minnesota Twins really haven't been hot all season, so that's no surprise.
Kicking them while they're down a little bit.
Yeah, however, they're doing fucking terrible, bro. Their pitching staff has allowed a 1.327 OPS to hitters when the bases are loaded, which, if it holds, would surpass the 2015 Tigers record of 1.215. Blowing it out of the water, bro.
Dude. That's so bad.
Just the least clutch of all time.
That's so bad.
For contrast, last year the Twins held opponents to a 404 OPS with the bases loaded, which was the 5th best all time.
Okay, yeah. That's quite a bit different.
It's all kind of the same fucking players too. So like, what are we doing, guys?
Yeah, I mean, they did lose some. Was it Trevor May? They lost to the Mets.
True. Sergio Romo, was he up there last year?
I can't remember who was in that bullpen last year, but I do feel like they lost a couple key pieces, but not enough to triple your OPS with runners in scoring position.
Right. Sergio Romo was up there in 2020. That was his last season with Minnesota.
Okay.
So, yeah. So Romo and May. Is that what you said? Trevor May, right?
Yeah.
Well, dude. Oh, and then the one twin, whichever, I can never remember who it is, the Rogers twin.
Yes, the other Rogers. Yeah,
he's been hurt a little bit this season too. I think most of the season actually. So I don't know, man. We'll see. But they're fucking trash. So we'll move on. Right. Speaking of blowing saves, though, holy shit, the Phillies, bro.
God,
Phillies, bro.
Their bullpen was bad last year.
Yeah. So they've blown 30 saves this season, which is the 9th most all time, and there's still 3 weeks left. The 2004 Rockies hold the record with 34. So if they blow 5 in the next 3 weeks, they hold the record. Either way, they're probably going to move up that leaderboard a little tiny bit, which is just fucking crazy to me because, like, I remember the Phillies, like, they addressed it. They're like, shit. Right. We have bullpen problems. We need new bullpen guys. And they go out and they revamp their entire bullpen, and they're still ass. They're still ass, bro. It's crazy.
Oh, it was. I'm trying to remember who they picked up this last year, but they did, like, between trading and signing free agents, like, they seriously, like, revamped that bullpen, and it's still so bad,
dude. Awful.
How is it still so bad?
I'm trying to find. Okay, so here, let's see. In their bullpen, it's not listed in any order here, but they had Brandon Kinsler. They just traded for Ian Kennedy, but apparently that ain't working out too well for him.
Oh, they picked up Archie Bradley too.
I was gonna say they had Archie Bradley, but they shipped him off to Cincinnati at the trade deadline, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, digging through this, man, there ain't a whole lot of other fucking names. Jesus.
Chase Anderson, but they traded Jose Alvarado from the Rays.
Yeah,
they picked up Sam Coonrod from the Giants.
Coonrod.
And then they didn't do enough, I guess, of the big moves.
Right.
But we'll see what they do this offseason. But man, they're gonna have to make some serious improvements to that bullpen. Maybe they go after a Josh Hader. Fuck it, I don't know.
Right. I mean, if you're gonna keep Bryce happy, you got to do it. You got to get that boy a ring. Please just get that boy a ring.
And JT, they just signed him to a big contract too.
No shit, that's true. Maybe they can start. And I hate to say it, maybe get JD Hammer some contacts, bro. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
I want to see your live reaction right now. Google search JD Hammer, bro.
Okay. JD Hammer. I'm a little scared.
No, you're going to love it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, I love this guy.
Yeah, everybody go Google search a little bit of JD Hammer and come right back. He is kind of the fucking jam. Kind of the fucking jam.
Are you for real right now? This is the best.
Yes, sir.
I love that one of the very first pictures is him next to
the wild thing
from Major League. Yeah, from Major League.
Vince Vaughn.
Dude. All right. Yep. I like him. I like him.
You didn't even fucking catch me, dude. I said Vince Vaughn. Unbelievable.
No, I did. I was just going to ignore you.
All right, brother. How about you take on some of those injuries? Just hammer them out, bro.
Yeah. Let's get through them here. So Garrett Cole exited his start on Tuesday night with some hamstring tightness. So hopefully that's nothing crazy. Blake Snell left the game after 11 pitches with left adductor tightness. Again, Yikes. Hopefully nothing crazy on that one, since they also lost Jake Cronenworth to a fractured finger, and he has no timetable for his return. So Padres are kind of reeling a little bit as it is. They really don't need any big name injuries to go along with it. And this is the weirdest one. So Jacob deGrom's UCL resolved itself, quote unquote. Super weird and super sketch. So first they said they were probably going to shut him down, right?
Right.
Because they're basically out of it. Now his arm just kind of, healed itself.
Yeah, just all of a sudden miraculously he's like, hey, no, he's fucking fine.
Right. Okay. But I mean, even if he does come back this year, he's only just now throwing on flat ground. So he still has to continue that. And then he can move to a mound. And then he can build up for innings. So, I mean, even if the Mets do make a big wild card push here, maybe they can get him at the end of the season or the wild card game or something. But dude, just shut him down, man. That's the ace of your franchise for the future. Just shut him down. Be done with him.
I know that I tweeted it the other day, but this just screams to me. This screams May next year. We're going to see DeGrom have Tommy John.
Right.
Your fucking UCL doesn't just magically heal itself. There was a partial tear. If that shit automatically healed itself, you wouldn't fucking need Tommy John, and you would also probably not be a professional baseball player. You would be on a fucking plate slab, and scientists would be poking and prodding at you, trying to figure out how the
hell that happened.
Your ligament healed on its own. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Unreal. It's just, I think it's denying the inevitable, dude. That's all it's ever been with the fucking Mets and their injuries and shit. It's always popping back and forth between, oh, he's healthy, oh, he's not healthy. Fucking a year later, here we go, fucking Tommy John. I know he hasn't pitched in 10 months, but, we're going to go ahead and tack another 12 onto that, Noah Syndergaard style. So it's just unreal, man. You hate to fucking see it.
You do. Whatever. It's the Mets. The Mets are going to Mets this one up because that's what they do.
I fucking hate it, bro. I hate it so much. All right. So we had the Hall of Fame inauguration this past weekend, finally from 2020. So old Derek Jeter, Ted Simmons, Larry Walker, and Marvin Miller all made it in finally at their ceremony. Thank
absolutely
Jesus. There were a couple funny things that I saw.
Yeah.
It made me laugh. So Jeter calls out the one writer that didn't vote for him in his speech. He said, I'd like to thank you all the baseball writers, all but one of you, who voted for me. So thank you guys. It was awesome. Just straight up calling out the one guy that fucking didn't. I love it.
That's all. The gatekeepers are the fucking worst, bro.
Fucking assholes, bro. And then Larry Walker wears that dope little SpongeBob pin at the inauguration.
I was so happy to see that.
I fucking lost it because if y'all will remember when he received the call that he was going to the Hall of Fame, he may or may not have been wearing the sickest SpongeBob NASCAR jacket I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. So not only did he wear that pin, he had that NASCAR jacket. That is actually now in the Hall of Fame underneath his little box that they give him for this year's inauguration or whatever. That jacket is in there. So SpongeBob's just being repped in the MLB Hall of Fame.
SpongeBob is in the MLB Hall of Fame, but Pete Rose and Barry Bonds aren't. Okay.
Yeah, dude, don't even get me fucking started. And by don't get me started, I mean, get me started right fucking now.
Yeah. Fuck it. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So along those lines, dude, let me just read these shits off then. Yeah. So we talked about it. Nobody made it in 2021. Nobody got voted in. We got a couple that are really, really close, but 3 of them are on their last ballot this year. And of course, those 3 are Curt Schilling, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. They, in order, came in at 71-1 for Schilling, 61-8 for Barry Bonds, and 61-6 for Roger Clemens. There's a lot of other people scattered in here that are, 52%, 49, 46. I think a couple of these guys are going to make it, but Dan, I know you've got something to say about these people in here. So let's
okay. So first off, let's talk about some fucking gatekeepers here, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about Barry Bonds first. Mm-hmm. So it's no surprise we are pro Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame on this show.
Yes, sir.
He is one of the greatest hitters, if not the greatest hitter that we will ever see play the game of baseball. Mm-hmm. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. I don't give a shit if he used steroids or if he didn't, but let's talk about that. He never once failed an MLB-sanctioned PED test, urine test, sample, anything like that. The only time he has ever failed, one of them, he was given a test. The test results were negative, and then it was picked up by the federal government as part of the investigation back in whatever it was, 04, 05. And then all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, it tested positive. Like, there's huge red flags. There's huge question marks. Anytime he ever tested positive, there was always question marks in the chain of command as far as like who actually had it and what measures were being taken to make sure they weren't being tampered with. So I'm not saying he did or he didn't take them. I don't really give a shit, honestly. I think he probably did if I'm, just my gut reaction. But again, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, if you're just looking at the fucking guy, he did steroids.
Sure. But it doesn't matter because he was the absolute freaking pinnacle of baseball for so long. At the end of his year, if anything, and I actually brought this up to one of the freaking boomer gatekeepers that we get into it with all the time on the stupid group that we, for whatever reason, refuse to leave just so we can keep talking shit. I like arguing, bro. Right. If you want to talk about Barry Bonds, let's talk about how at the end of his, I think it was 2007 season, his last year, 2007 season, which he was an all-star, which he led the league, the whole league in walks, which he led the entire league in on-base percentage, which he led the entire league in intentional walks, and he had a 169 OPS plus, couldn't get one single major league offer the following year as a free agent.
Right.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I know he brought a collusion lawsuit against, and obviously that ended up not going anywhere because it's ridiculously hard to prove collusion. Right. But if you're looking at a guy who is 69% nice, better than any other offensive player in the league, I don't give a shit if he's 42 years old. He 100% deserves another MLB contract. 'Cause the conversation was, if out of all of his intentional walks, his 688 career intentional walks, if half of those go away, does he get to 800 home runs? Does he get to 1,000 home runs? Whatever it is. So I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I did look all of this stuff up. Even if you take away half of the intentional walks, he does fall a little bit short. I think it was like 787, I think is what I think I calculated based on his home runs per
just
at bat.
On the rate. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But even if you give him 2008, 2009, 2010, like that dude's 800, he's probably pushing 900 home runs, a record that will never, ever be even close to being touched ever again. Put Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame. He deserves it. Like you said, he's at 61.8%, so he's probably not going to get to that 75% threshold, but hopefully the Veterans Committee pulls their heads out of their asses in a few years when he's eligible and they bring him and they put him in.
Well, even if they're going to do it this year. Just fucking do Schilling, do Bonds, do Clemens. Get them out of the way. Get this fucking taste out of your mouth. Put them in the Hall of Fame and move the fuck on, because this isn't going to be the last time you're going to deal with it, because we've got A-Rod coming on next fucking year on the ballot. We're going to be dealing with this for the rest of history because steroids are so prevalent, in and out of the fucking game now.
It's part of the era now.
It's part of it. Yeah. You these same guys that won't vote these guys in are the ones that refer to that era as the steroid era. Right. You acknowledge that that's a thing. You know that whole era was based off of that shit. So you not only had the strongest hitters, you had the fucking best pitching we've seen in forever, and they were both going head to head, and they single-handedly fucking saved baseball after the strike.
Absolutely.
So you can't just fucking ignore this shit.
And it's the high horse and the pedestal shit that drives me absolutely nuts. Like, there was an actual investigation done in the 70s. I want to say it was like 1973 about drug use in baseball. And the conclusion was that steroids and amphetamines were widely used throughout baseball.
Right.
So it's not like it's a new thing to just the 90s. There are guys in the Hall of Fame already that have admitted to using PEDs.
Exactly.
Babe Ruth, who everyone who says that Barry Bonds shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame frequently says Babe Ruth is the greatest to ever play. Babe Ruth tried to take a horse performance enhancement, I believe, at one point in time.
Hell yeah.
Made him sick as shit, almost killed him. So he decided not to do that specific one again. But if he was willing to do that, what else did he do that he didn't get caught for?
Bro, that guy fucking parties, bro.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. But the thing that pisses me off the most is that because these guys are continuously being on there, Barry Bonds should have been a one and done in the Hall of Fame. Roger Clemens should have been a one and done. The man won 7 Cy Young awards.
Yeah,
Put that motherfucker in the Hall of Fame.
What are you thinking?
But because of that, you've got guys like Andrew Jones, who he's on after his 4th year of eligibility, is only at 33.9% of the vote. So he's got a long ass way to go. Scott Rowland on his 4th year, 52.9. But I did a little digging on on Andrew Jones.
Okay. Are you gonna hurt my heart?
No, you're gonna like it actually.
Okay, cool.
I don't know why we're not talking about him as a lock Hall of Famer more. So, like, I looked at his 62.7 career WAR is 21st all time among outfielders.
Okay.
21st. If you just narrow that down to center fielders, it's 8th.
Wow.
And we're not putting him in the Hall of Fame. His 434 home runs is 7th all time for outfielders. His 10 Gold Gloves is tied for 2nd among Hall of Famers. Here's a couple names that you might know: Roberto Clemente and Willie Mays.
Yeah, those are guys.
Okay, yeah, those are the guys that are in front of him.
Okay.
Also, both Hall of Famers. The guys that he's tied with are Al Kaline, who is a Hall of Famer, Ichiro, who was also a Hall of Famer, and Ken Griffey Jr., who I believe is a Hall of Famer as well, or Ichiro will be a Hall of Famer, I should say.
Yeah.
So
those guys are pretty good and in the Hall of Fame, right? So
and we're literally not talking about him at all. And I'm guilty of it. Like, I always looked at him like, oh yeah, I remember him. He was a pretty good player. But then when you look at the numbers, and he fucking raked, dude.
He's literally the reason that I like the Braves so much. Like, I know that, like, growing up, I should have been like, oh, the fucking pitchers and shit. Andrew Jones was the fucking jam. Andrew and Chipper, when they were both going back and forth, and then they had, I don't know why I fucking love it so much, but you had to have the A. Jones and the C. Jones. Like, I was about it, bro. So of course I was drawn to these guys, and like, you look at 2005, even just one fucking year, probably his best year, for being honest. Andrew Jones. So he finished 2nd in MVP that year. He batted .263. So of course everybody's gonna fucking cry about that. Of course. His on base was a .347, but he slugged .575 for a .922 OPS. The motherfucker led the league with 51 home runs, 128 RBIs, bro.
Yeah, you take a what was it, 263 average if you're going to get 51 home runs and 128 RBIs out of him.
Well, we all know the fucking problem here. If you look at his career batting average, what is it? Do you have it up? Call it out to me, sir.
Yeah, it's 254. I get it.
So that is why he won't make it, until the 10th year or some shit, because you got these fucking old heads that are 90 years old voting these people in. Back in my day, we had a 300. No, the fuck you did it, bro. Right. Like, I don't know how many more times we're going to have to look up through, like, the league average, batting average, and be like, bruh, they're 80. They're 80 hits off between 240 and 260. 80 hits. Yeah. That's it. It's fucking unbelievable, man. I like that. That was fun. I feel a little better about life now.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. What was okay. So there was one other thing I was going to look at here really fast. So StatHead or Baseball Reference has like Hall of Fame monitor and Hall of Fame standards and stuff. And I kind of dig it. So his, whatever their actual number is, right? So batting, it's 109, whatever that is.
I think those are the those are like the marks that they have. Is that what it is?
So they have a black marks, and he's got 10 of them.
Okay.
But they also have, so they've got black ink, gray ink, Hall of Fame monitor, Hall of Fame standards.
Right.
So, but just by the Hall of Fame monitor, and I just didn't look in to see what the numbers are. It's 109 for him. A likely Hall of Famer is around 100. I just, like, you're already above a likely Hall of Famer. Like, I imagine that's probably something similar to like OPS plus, to where 109 means you're like 9% above. It's where likely Hall of Famer close. At 100 being average.
So I'm reading on the criteria right now. Using a rough scale, 100 means a good possibility, and like 130 is like a virtual like cinch, like he's in no matter what. So what you end up doing is you accrue points, is what it is. So for batting average, you get 2.5 points for each season over 300, 5 points over 350, 15 for over 400. So that's like batting average shit. For hits, it's 5 points for each season of 200 or more, 3 points in each season of 100 or more RBIs. There's 30.
Okay. So they've got a scoring criteria.
Yeah, there's 30 different criteria in there that it falls under.
But either way, 100 is a likely Hall of Famer, and he's at 109, so he's 9 points above, and he should be in there. They're looking at average Hall of Fame center fielder. So out of the 19 that are in there, the 7-year peak WAR was 44.8. His 7-year peak WAR was 46.4, so he was above that. Like, he's just at or above every metric that you would look at, and 40 or 33.9%. Like, what, bro? Yeah. What? Get these other guys in so we can start talking about the Andrew Joneses and the Scott Rowlands more.
Yeah, we're definitely like. Everybody's so distracted by these big name, controversial guys that we're not talking about. Like you said, Andrew Jones. I think Todd Helton needs a lot more notification. I mean, he's on his third time. This will be his fourth, and he's coming in at 44.9, which Todd Helton, to me, seems like a first ballot type guy. Like
Larry Walker getting in will help Todd Helton, but still, like, come on, dude.
And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Jeff Kent coming in at 32.4 is a huge mistake.
Really low. That seems really low.
They've got to fucking look at this shit. Like, Jeff Kent needs to be in the Hall of Fame as well. It's the same thing as like an Andrew Jones type. Like, I want to.
If I remember right, I think there was quite a few similarities between Jeff Kent and Joe Morgan, between second baseman, and Kent is like not even being mentioned at all.
Yeah. So Jeff Kent, I mean, he's got a career 55.5 WAR. So they say it's like right at like 50 to 55 WAR is, like
you start getting into that conversation.
Yeah, you start talking about it. But I mean, he's a second baseman. The guy's got 377 home runs, career 290 hitter. Like, I know that all of the accolades aren't there, but I mean, he was an MVP 1 year, 5-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger. Like, I think it's plenty fine to get in the fucking Hall of Fame, especially as a second baseman.
I mean, let's not forget that he got overshadowed on a team with Barry Bonds, right?
Correct.
And JT Snow. Like, he got overshadowed by some guys that, were bigger names than him. Will Clark, I think, was on some of those teams too. So
right. All right. Let's kind of move on a little bit. So I did have a little bit of a question there about those guys from 2021 on the ballot that didn't make it. So do you think Schilling, Bonds, Clemens go in?
I think Schilling makes it, and I think he's the only one of those three that makes it.
I think Schilling drops so fucking far because if you remember, he called them out. He called them out.
Yeah, he wanted
afterwards.
to be taken off.
Yeah, so whatever. Fuck. I don't know. I love Curt Schilling. I've got a Curt Schilling fucking signed World Series baseball right here in front of me. I love Curt Schilling. Leave the Twitter shit out of it. He's a great fucking baseball player. He did awesome. Put him in the Hall. I know you kind of just made a case for Andrew Jones and shit, but which one of these guys do you think makes like the biggest jump on the ballot this year?
I think it's going to be like a Scott Rowland because he's consistently trended in that direction, and Todd Helton. I think those two probably make the biggest jumps. I think Andrew comes in right behind them. I think Vizquel probably sees the biggest drop.
Sure. Just
because of off the field. If you remember, he's involved with a whole bunch of domestic assault stuff right now.
Completely forgot about that.
So I think that he falls significantly short this year, and he potentially even drops off the ballot within the next couple of years.
That's fair, man. What do you think about a guy like Billy Wagner? What does that name do to you?
I am so torn
Okay.
Because I'd have to look at like how he finished, because I know he finished earlier than, Mo and oh my God, the other reliever, Padres.
Who are you talking about, bro?
The guy who
Trevor Hoffman.
Thank you. I was gonna say the guy who Rivera broke the record for, for saves. So like I don't know where he finished his career compared to where those two guys.
422 saves.
But when he retired, is what I'm saying. What was that? Like, did Hoffman and
they were already past him. Like he never held the record.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think he ever held the record, but as far as like where he was on there, I don't know, man. Like he was a dominant reliever. I like his story because he never got any D1 offers. He went to JUCO, worked his way up. Like I love that story, but I don't know if he's Hall of Fame.
Okay, so let me just throw a couple numbers at you, and I want to pick your brain.
Yep.
Career ERA is a 2.31. He had a 422 saves.
Okay.
His ERA plus is a 187.
Holy shit. Okay.
His FIP is a 2.73. So what you were talking about, a little bit higher than his ERA,
but still sub 3 is awesome.
Yeah. His WHIP is a 9.98. His K per 9 career is 11.9. Like,
wow,
the guy's kind of good, bro.
Yeah, I'm kind of being swayed in that direction. I'd like to see him compared to some other ones, but like other relievers in there, but there's not a ton of relievers in the Hall of Fame. So
exactly. I think old B-Wags kind of gets slept on a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of down with it.
Let's move on to the 2022 guys that are going to be eligible this year. So we just looked up, a bunch of like the notable names that are going to be on here. So we've got Carl Crawford, Prince Fielder, Ryan Howard, Tim Lincecum, Joe Nathan, Big Papi, Jonathan Papelbon, Jake Peavy, AJ Pierzynski, A-Rod, Jimmy Rollins, and Mark Teixeira. So I have a list here. Obviously, you see the same list. I have their current. Obviously, it's not going to fucking change. I have their career WAR listed behind them. A-Rod obviously leads the pack with 117.5.
Yeah, he should be a slam dunk Hall of Famer, but he won't.
Correct. He's going to receive the same treatment as like Barry Bonds, but I think that he's the most deserving, like, not most deserving. He's going to be treated. God, I don't even know how to explain it. He's definitely the most shameful of it all.
Most like, justified in not, being presented as a Hall of Famer kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah, and part of it is serving the 162 game suspension, right? Yeah. Like he tested positive during the season.
He tested
after the
positive
biogenesis
multiple times. Like,
right.
That's the thing is you don't learn your lesson. B, you do it again. C, you rub it in their face after he admitted doing steroids in 2003 with the Rangers. Later on in his career, he was like, I did that year. Fucking, you missed me. And then he gets popped twice. Like,
right.
It's so shameful just to like rub it in their faces, I think.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I hate it because I don't like him all that much. But he does deserve to be in.
I think he's kind of a shitty person, but I don't. Like I said, we hate fucking gatekeepers like that. Like I think Barry Bonds is a shitty person too, but both of them absolutely deserve to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. This isn't the like character Hall of Fame, right? Like no, they were the best baseball players of their eras. True. They should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame needs to tell a story, and A-Rod's a big part of that fucking story. So
he is. Other than that, like I think Papi is. I don't think he's going to be a first ballot. But he raises another interesting question though, because he did test positive early on in his career. I think 3 or 2. I don't remember when it was, but it was revealed later that he tested positive.
Mm-hmm.
But he's likable.
Right, he's very likable, and he never received a suspension because it was an off-field thing.
Yeah, so it wasn't an MLB sanctioned test, right?
Yeah, it was kind of like that. What was it, the 1970 thing where they were just trying to get like a general consensus of who did it, and so they tested everybody in the league, and Papi was one of them that came up positive, but that information was never supposed to be leaked. Right. So don't get me wrong, sure he did it, but also I don't fucking care. That's the most clutch hitter in all of history. Period.
Dude, especially if you start talking about postseason.
Yeah, bro. Big Papi needs to be in that place.
I agree. I think he will get into the Hall of Fame, but I do think that it's going to be a shit stain on all of these gatekeeper baseball writers' faces when they let him in but they keep holding the line on guys like Bonds and Clemens and A-Rod.
Yeah, we'll kind of have to see how it pans out this year. But out of those, the rest of those guys, like Joe Nathan's another one that I want to take a deeper dive into because I know that he was so dominant for so long, but I don't know if he accrued those numbers as much. I think like a Mark Teixeira and a Jimmy Rollins are worth looking at as well. But Jimmy Rollins' career WAR is 47.6 and Mark Teixeira's 50.6. So, you know, we always talk about how WAR is not a perfect stat, blah, 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 whatever.
But it gets you in the right direction.
Yeah, it gives you a good general, basis to go off of. I think that they deserve recognition. I don't think that they'll make it.
Agreed.
Ryan Howard was cut way too short. Carl Crawford, kind of the same thing. Prince Fielder, maybe at one point, but, Yeah,
he just, that neck injury, man. Exactly. He just never could keep healthy. I do love that him and his dad finished with the exact same number of career home runs. That is cool.
It is crazy to look at this list too and see all of the guys that were just plagued with injury or ended early because of injuries. So you got Prince Fielder, Ryan Howard, Tim Lincecum, Jake Peavy.
Yeah.
All of these guys could have been something fucking great, but I don't know.
Couldn't stay healthy long enough. But that's why the Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fame.
Right.
You were able to pair production with longevity.
Right. I don't know, man. So we'll see how that goes, but
I'm not going to harp on this one too terribly long, but I did want to look up Jeff Kent just because it did kind of get me thinking.
Yeah.
So among second basemen who have played 75% of the games at second base, right? That's always my criteria, and at least 1,500 games. He leads all of them in home runs. He is second place in RBIs to Nap LaJoy, who is also a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
He is, where was he? I think he led in slugging. Yeah, he leads in slugging. And he is second in OPS.
Put that boy in the Hall of Fame. What are we doing?
I do think Jeff Kent, I will go on record saying that he should be a slam dunk Hall of Famer.
I don't know what the fuck we're doing out here.
To go with an MVP, 5 All-Stars, 4 Silver Sluggers.
If you're one of the best at your position all time, how are you not in the Hall of Fame? It doesn't matter the class that you're in. It doesn't matter. Vote them in. Put them in. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I forgot he was with Houston too. So 03-04, he's getting outshined by Biggio and Bagwell, and Beltran was there in 04 for a little bit. So he was never the best on his team, but he was always he was one of the best second basemen.
Right. All right. So we've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about.
Yes,
but
we do.
I have one more question on Hall of Fame shit that just kind of popped into my head.
Okay.
I know we're trying to keep it exclusive. Is the 10 vote minimum too little? Or is it just right?
What?
The writers are only allowed to vote for 10 people.
Oh, no, I think they should just vote for anybody they think should be in the Hall of Fame.
That's kind of what I was saying too.
Personally, I don't think it should be limited.
Right. I know you don't want to oversaturate the hall, but like we keep talking about, you can't just leave it up to fate to get Jeff Kent or Andre Jones in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
If they deserve a vote, fucking vote for them. It doesn't matter if you have ones left, or you should either. And there's guys that don't use all 10 votes either, so you should either.
That pisses me off.
Yeah, either use all 10 or get kicked the fuck off. You're not allowed to do that shit anymore. Use all 10 of your fucking ballots.
Yeah, and if you submit a blank ballot, you no longer get a vote in the Hall of Fame.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
If you can't find one name that's worthy, you don't deserve
exactly.
To be it. But yeah, I don't think there should be 10. I think it should just be whatever. Because I think some years you might get 11, 12, but other years it may be 4 or 5.
Right.
So I think it should just be whoever you think is worthy, that's who you get to vote for.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll all even out eventually, but it's just bruh, what the fuck are we doing?
Agreed.
All right. Moving on to cool stuff, and then we're going to move into our boys and wrap up the episode. So, cool stuff. First thing here, let's just go back and forth on bullet points. How you feel?
Okay. Yep, cool. I'm good with it.
So, first bullet point here. Colin Mchugh and the Rays intentionally balk. Balk. They didn't walk. They balked while up 2 runs in the 10th on Monday night, so last Monday, versus Boston. The logic behind this is kind of fucking crazy, and it's a very Rays thing to do.
I had to read up on this, but I like it a lot.
So the runner at second doesn't matter. So moving him from second to third does 2 things. 1, that runner can't steal signs and relay him to the batter.
Yep.
And 2, the pitcher could pitch from the stretch if they prefer. So, or from the stretch.
Yeah, the stretch.
So
or the wind up.
That's kind of what I was thinking. We got a typo in here. Yeah, from the wind up.
Definitely from the wind up.
But, I mean, in that case, homie's going to just steal second? Because you just...
Steal third, you mean?
Oh, wait, because he balked him, so there's nobody else on first. I get it now. All right, I'm all there now. Okay.
There we go.
It's a very Rays thing to do. Very
There's been a few teams that have done it this year, and
Really?
that's why I had to read up on it. Yeah, I think the Yankees have done it, and I forget who else. I was reading about it a couple weeks ago, but I was like, why the hell would you intentionally balk? But it was the sign stealing thing. Teams are apparently still super paranoid that runners on second are stealing signs, which is part of the game. You put a video camera in center field, that's not part of the game anymore.
Correct.
But so yeah, that's the thing. They're still super paranoid about it, so they'll just let them have third base.
I understand, bro. Fucking do your thing, Rays. Whatever the fuck.
Right. Pete Alonso, this is awesome. Pete the Meat becomes the second fastest player to ever reach 100 home runs. He did it in 347 games. Ryan Howard holds the record for the fastest. He did it in 325. And he's only the 8th player in MLB history to hit 100-plus home runs within their first 3 seasons of playing in the league. So Pete the Meat is out there doing it.
Doing pretty fucking good, bro. Not to mention, like the 70 that he hits each year in the fucking Derby.
Right.
Just unreal. Just a fucking cool cat, man. Tell you what.
Love that dude.
Did you see this? Did you see old Pujols homer the other day?
I did. I was pretty happy about it. Off of J-Hap.
Yep. So Pujols made his return to Busch Stadium in Dodger blue this time. Received a 40-second standing ovation, which... best fans in baseball, do your fucking thing.
Did you see him? Did you see him try to stop Yachty from going out there?
He was like, no.
And Yachty just looks at him and goes, no.
Yeah, I get it. Whatever. Fucking bunch of fucking babies.
So bitter.
No, I get it, dude. It's cool. And I mean, of course he fucking hits a dinger. Why wouldn't he? He's fucking Albert Pujols.
Right.
So it was his first time here, as I said, in St. Louis as a Dodger. He was here in 2019 with the Angels, and of course he homered then as well and gave a curtain call to the fans. So good on you, Albert Pujols. Very proud of you, sir.
I believe he hit that one off of Dakota Hudson, if I'm not mistaken. He kind of grooved a fastball down the middle.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see him in St. Louis next year, so it'll be fun.
Most likely. Who I wish we'd see in St. Louis next year is Shohei Ohtani, because that motherfucker
boy.
is slugging 608. 608.
Woof.
His opponents, when he's pitching, are only slugging 335. So he could give up a home run, not a base hit, a home run to the next 32 batters he faces, and his opponent's slugging would still be lower than his own slugging percentage. They'd come in at a 606.
That is unbelievable.
That's the only reason Vladdy's not the runaway MVP right now. The only reason is that man right there.
Bless America, bro. I'll be the first to admit I was down on the Ohtani train when he first came over, and ever since, up until this year. This year is the first time where I'm like, before the season, when you were saying shit, I was like, all right, man, yeah, cool. I see it. I'm on your side. Let's fucking do it. And he's just gone the fuck off. But like, I don't think anybody ever imagined him doing shit like this. This is fucking crazy. Leading both leagues in offensive and pitching cat. Like, what are we doing, bro?
Right. Doing shit that's never been done in the history of the game.
Literally never been done. I don't give a shit about you, Babe Ruth. God dang, you fat piggy boy. All right, and we're going to talk a little bit about Max Scherzer here. Max Scherzer, this is a bad one, and then I'll follow it up with a good one, okay?
Okay.
So Max Scherzer hasn't been able to reach base. That's a walk, a hit by pitch, anything, in 53 straight plate appearances. So that broke Wei-Yin Chen's record of 49. Okay. It's kind of a good thing because we've seen what Max Scherzer does with a bat in his hand. He breaks his own nose. So
he is also he's been a very vocal advocate of bringing the DH to the National League so pitchers don't have to hit.
Absolutely. Look at his
and now we see why.
Face that he made that one time, bro. Broke his shit all up. But shortly after he did that, he also took a perfect game into the 8th inning the other day against the Padres after collecting his 3,000th career strikeout. So he struck out Eric Hosmer for his 3,000th, and then later on in the game, Hosmer doubled to break up the perfecto. So my note here says, simply put, baseball. That's just how we do.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll get you this time, but boy, you better come back and get me next time. And that's exactly what Hosmer did.
Yep.
So digging into that just a little bit, Scherzer became the 19th member of the 3,000 strikeout club. So that's kind of fucking cool.
Yeah.
You would almost think that there would be more, maybe. In my head, like, I feel like people just stick around for a long time. There's got to be fucking more than
this. Especially after your note earlier where Carlton and I forget who else hit 3,000. Yeah, hit 3Ks and 3,000 Ks in the same month.
Right.
Well, this is why it hasn't happened in the same month before, because there's not a lot of people in that club.
Yeah, that is fucking crazy, man. So for perspective there, 32 players have collected 3,000 plus hits. Miggy will be the 33rd either later this season or early next season.
Right.
There are 28 members of the 500 home run club, and there's been 23 perfect games thrown.
That's the craziest one to me.
Yeah, there's been more perfect games thrown than there are players in the 3,000 strikeout club.
Yeah. That's how rare of a feat it is. It's so incredibly uncommon.
That's honestly fucking crazy. Will you talk about something so I can look up the list?
Yeah. So obviously at the top of that list, we've got Nolan Ryan and then Randy Johnson. But yeah, so I was looking this up and I was thinking like you, man. I was like, okay, surely there's got to be a bunch of people in it. And the most recent ones that we've had before Scherzer, we had
Justin
Verlander. Yeah, Verlander did it a couple of seasons ago, and CeCe did it a couple of seasons before him.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, I think it was Pedro, in early 2000s, and then before that, it was Maddox. But yeah, man, yeah,
Schilling.
And it's just so ridiculously uncommon that there's gaps of either like 2 to 3 years, it seems like, or 15 to 20 years. Like that. There's no in between. Right. Comes in waves.
Man, yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, you've got Nolan Ryan, of course, coming in at 5,700, like a fucking animal.
Yeah, Walter Johnson was the first to do it. I know that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like the first 10 names aside from Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, and Greg Maddux are all like old fucks. So it's Nolan Ryan, Steve Carlton, Burt Blyleven, Tom Seaver, Don Sutton, Gaylord Perry, and Walter Johnson. That's basically your top 10 there.
Right.
And you keep moving down. You got to Phil Necro, Fergie Jenkins, Bob Gibson.
Gibby's in there, yeah.
And then you move up to the Max Scherzer, Verlander, Smoltz, Sabathia types. Like,
yep.
What the fuck, bro? That is...
It's wild. It's a super exclusive club.
That's pretty eye-opening, my guy. I'm out here. I'm learning on the fly, bro. I'm telling you, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think the craziest thing that will probably never happen again is one of those 23 perfect games happened in the World Series.
True. Who was that?
That was a Yankee, I believe.
Yeah, it was old, and I can see it, and it's black and white, and the catcher jumps in his arms, and they do things, and
it was Don Larson.
That guy, that's the one.
Yep, and it was the Yankees. Yep. Yankees versus Dodgers, Brooklyn Dodgers. So back in '56.
Yeah, I remember '56 like it was yesterday, bro.
Hey.
All right, my guy. I think that wraps it up. Let's talk about our boys here. Let's get that done and out of the way, and get you off of here and get you some dinner, buddy. Get you fed. What do you think?
I like dinner.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna trash Tone while we're here.
Fucking Tone, man.
I don't know.
Dude can't lose.
This guy is the Barry Bonds of our boys, bro. He's out here roiding something, my guy.
He could pick Harrison Bader, and Bader would go off and hit 3 grand slams next week.
Right. It's not like the names that he's picking are crazy huge, like you're saying, but they're just having the craziest weeks when they do get picked. And it all started with Joey Votto hitting fucking 9 home runs that week, and it's just trickled down since then.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well, let's get into third place then.
Yeah, bro, I got it. I'm hanging in there. So I already lost our bet.
Double lost on this one.
I know. I already lost our bet second week. Fuck, I had a guy get points. What the hell? Unreal. DJ Peters, he was 5 for 23 on the week, batting .217, slugging .348. Not great. He did have a home run. That's my first home run in over a month, so I love to see that.
There you go.
8 total bases, 4 ribs, 4 runs, 7 Ks. That's all there was to it. Handsome looking guy, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. 12.5 boy points. That's 12.5 more than 0.
That's true, bro. All right, what you got?
I went with Luis Robert, who, all things considered, didn't have a bad week. Slash line 370. He slugged 481, 874 OPS. The thing that killed me is he didn't hit any home runs last
I was going to say, if you'd have peppered a couple dingers in there, it would have been a whole lot closer.
It's a hell of a different race at that point. So 13 total bases, 5 RBIs. I mean, I love that he had 1 walk to 2 Ks. That's great. But, man, go hit some fucking home runs. So leads us into the fucking reigning champ.
Yeah, unbelievable. Tone had Marcus Semien last week, and of course he had to go the absolute fuck off. He's 12 for 33, batting 364, 462, slugging 818 for an OPS of 1.280. He had 4 home runs, 27 total bases, which is more than Dan got in all of his boy points. And he's in second place, bro. What the fuck?
That's more than yours and I's total bases combined. More RBIs than us combined. More runs than us combined.
RBIs alone almost beat my whole boy points. Fucking unreal. 8 runs, 6 walks, 4 strikeouts. And then, just for shits and gigs, he went ahead and stole a fucking base for a total of 63 boy points. Tone, cool your fucking jets, bro.
Yeah, Tone knows how to pick some boys. There ain't no doubt about that.
Before we move on, I just want to say real quick, though, this is probably the best week for, pictures of the boys, too. I found 3 good ones, and
those are good ones.
They fit in the frames very well. They're all active. I love it. It was a good week.
I like it.
I'm taking that as a win on my own right there. Tell you what.
That is a wick. And you will win. And you can tell that you picked this next background.
No, I didn't.
With the Yu-Gi-Oh boys out there. So while Ty is having a laughing fit, just a refresher, I had the West, Tone had the Central, Ty had the East.
I forgot how good it was.
I picked Alex Bregman, who's the only one who is not excited in this picture here.
I tried so hard to find a picture of him excited, and all of them were just him just being mean, just mugging.
Just stoic, just. He's got 4 games this week against the Rangers, who are terrible, so that should be good. And then 3 against the D-backs, who are even worse, so that should be good. Last week, he had 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, and a 1268 OPS. And just for shits and giggles, I put that into this week's, and I still would have lost. So,
oh my god, fucking yikes, bro. That's all right. I picked Lindor, and last night he had 3 home runs. So, he's probably going to hit a grand total of 0 this week because he got them all out last night.
Yeah, he did.
But he's got 3 at home against the Cardinals this week, and then he's got 3 at home against Philly, who, again, we were talking about has been struggling. So now that I've lost all of the bets all around, I'm just going to start picking the best player available. So going with Lindor, playing the hot hand. We'll see how that goes. Tickety Tone went ahead and picked old Tyler Bro-Neal.
Oh, the best. I love it.
Yeah, he's pretty good. What do you say? I think he's all right.
He's finally hitting his own as a player, an offensive player. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy. What happens when you give him just this playing time every day and shit.
He just goes out and wins a Gold Glove. That's all.
Who the fuck you? Whatever, man. The Cardinals are playing, as I just said, they're at the Mets for the next 3 days, and then they are at home versus the Padres this weekend, which, speaking of which, Daddy might want to go to a game this weekend. I don't know. We'll find out.
Papa Dan doesn't have the kids this weekend.
Oh, piss.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out after the show.
Yeah, fuck it, yeah. Okay, so I don't want to spin the wheel here without everybody here, so we'll just do that after the show. Okay. And we'll figure that all out. But God, damn, I love this fucking picture so much.
Give a quick recap of Bro-Neal. He did hit 2 home runs, two solo home runs last week, so 2 RBIs. Did strike out 10 times, so we'll see how that plays into Tony Tone's favor this week.
Well, let's see. What do we got for Francisco? What did he do? I know he got 3 ding-dongs last night. Frankie Lindor. We haven't had any singing this episode, bro.
Because we don't have Tone. Tone likes to lead us. I can't lead, bro. I'm a follower, not a leader.
I know, me too. Yeah, so for the last week, Lindor was batting 260, but he had an OPS of 1.135, 4 dingers, 3 of which came last night. So who the fuck knows what he's going to do, man? We'll see.
Probably not hit anything.
Probably nothing, right?
Let's be real. I mean, he had a 259 average, but he had a 188 BABIP.
Shut up.
That's not good.
You haven't even taught me what that one means yet, so I don't know.
Batting average on balls in play. I'll bring it back. I haven't had the nerd corner in a while. We'll bring it back in the off season.
Okay. Sounds good, baby boy. With that being said, though, let's go ahead and just end this sucker, dude. It's so weird with that tone here, dude. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. You know?
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding, bro. I want to thank everybody for listening, all y'all that tuned into the live stream, all of you that are listening later on the streaming platforms. We appreciate y'all. If you do want to watch the live stream, that is over at Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. All of it is at upperdeckerpod. Nope. All of it's at Upper Decker Pod. Just search for that. That's where we are on the socials. I saw you pull up the fucking website, and it threw me off. They're all over at Upper Decker Pod. Whatever, dude. Go find it. Listen to us. You can interact with us on the show. Like, it's the craziest fucking shit. You can just comment, and I can see it. We can post it, and people can see it, and we can talk about it. It's a great time. Join us. Come do it. If you don't want to do that and you want to just listen to us, you can head over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever the hell you listen to podcasts. We are there. Google search. God damn it, dude. I've fucking been talking too long. Search Upper Decker Pod on any of those streaming platforms. We're going to be there, bro. Just listen to our fucking shit, please. God, tell them how to give us money, Dan, so I shut the fuck up.
That's fine. Hey, while you're on those places as well, before I get into the money, if they allow for a review or a rating, go ahead and give us 5 stars, please. That just helps us climb up the rankings so other people can hear us. So that way we don't have to ask you every single week to sign up to be a monthly contributor.
That's right.
Over at anchor.fm/upperdeckerpod/support. We can ask them to give us 99 cents a month or $4.99 a month or $9.99 a month. Or if none of y'all want to sign up to be a monthly contributor, you can sign up to do a one-time donation, and that is over at paypal.me/upperdeckerpod. If you do anything $20 and over, you can get Ty to do just about anything on the show here. So incentive for giving some $20 or more donations that way.
$20 make me holla.
You can also head over to the website at upperdeckerpod.com. Oh, look what we got coming out soon. We got some hoodies coming soon. So you can buy some merch right there if you want to actually get something for your money rather than just, giving us money, which is, that's fair. I get it.
Right.
We also have t-shirts, we have hats, we have shorts, we have all kinds of cool shit up there. So go check us out, upperdeckerpod.com. All of the podcasts are on there, and go buy some stuff while you're there.
Oh, God. I'm so glad we're done. Thank you for doing so good there, Dan. I appreciate you, sir.
I got you, buddy.
That about wraps it up. I'll tell you what, we will catch y'all next week. I think all 3 of us will be here next week, yeah?
Should be, yeah.
All 3 of us here next week for episode 82 of the Upper Decker Podcast.
82.
Bye!